yeah, interested to see what you got to offer and information for me. 'Cause
Yeah,
I just am seriously just really starting out, and any information that you have that could be helpful to me or getting started would be awesome.
do you have any specific questions?
So basically, what I'm specifically looking for is, I guess, just the run it. Like, I've been doing a little bit of research on the becoming a online personal trainer. And for me, I just don't know how to scale up. I'm just in person right now. I didn't personal train for several years. I got my degree back in 2015. And financially, it just like the schedule, working in a gym wasn't worth it, the split schedule stuff that they make
Yeah,
you do. And so I did other jobs. I worked for a plant nursery company, just like doing manual labor for several years, but it's also not a company that, you can really move up in, and they're kind of shifty people. So
that's
that's all the companies around me. Working for a gym, it's also a thing of like, I have my degree, I've been certified in the past, but in order to work for a gym that's going to pay you what you're worth, you have to have these a crazy amount of certifications that I don't have the money for. And so going out on my own, like, I have the knowledge, and I have certification, I have my degree, but without having to keep up with that and the whole, walking the floor, just
yeah,
walking up to people. That's how you get your clients. I'd much rather, kind of organically meet people and discuss, because I do more kind of corrective exercises, I would
okay.
say. Do like, I'm not somebody that everybody, I feel like, lately is somebody that enjoyed working out in the gym for a couple of years, and so they decided to become a personal trainer. And
Mhm.
it's crazy that those are, I guess, they've got the personality for it. I don't really have that like Instagram personality to go out there and be an influencer and do it that way. So I guess, yeah, not doing the online thing. I don't know if it's even the place for me to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question, right? I mean, first and foremost, I would say that there is no requirement on you being the typical fitness influencer to get started in a business, even if business is in fitness.
Mhm.
Um, the goal of any business is not to collect followers, but to collect revenue.
Right.
And followers a vanity metric of sorts when it comes to revenue. It could
Mhm.
mean you're making money. It could mean
Yeah.
nothing at all to do with the money you're making. What we do see a lot of is utilizing the power of what we would call content marketing, which is
Mhm.
still be able to post through domain expertise and build trust with your audience. Um, and distributing that is obviously very easy with social media.
Right.
Um, but that doesn't mean that you need to be posting 10 times a day. It doesn't need to be that you're posting 10 times a week. Realistically, you could create, and we specialize in creating businesses primarily through the use of paid ads, which is
Mhm.
essentially just paying the platforms, whichever platform it may be,
Mhm.
to put your ad and basically get you pay for attention rather than organic or algorithms sharing your message. It's just paying
Mhm.
them to put that attention in front of them. Through that, as part of the discovery process, any prospective client is likely going to go to your social media and have a look at
Right.
the content you've already uploaded to see if it's a good fit, if you know what you're talking
Right.
about, etc. So to the degree that you need posting, what we like to say is that if you just take, for example, an Instagram profile, have it so there's more than just one screen. Give them a bit of a scroll.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So they
Something
can
to
go,
look
oh, yeah,
through.
that's like 25 posts, really. You
Right.
know what I mean? You could post 25 reels
Mhm.
and you'd be fairly comfortable because people won't, they're looking to go there for confirmation that you know what you're doing, not to, and like they'd like to have a bit of a sense of your personality, I'm sure as well. But
Right.
on the whole, do I need to be a hyper viral, hyper extroverted? No, not at all. There are plenty of people that aren't, and
Yeah.
people will typically look for and appreciate content that speaks to them. So if you're an introverted person, if you're not the hyper smiley, whatever the hell person that shakes their ass and speaks about growing big glutes, that's fine. Because, you know, in America, in Australia, and all the English speaking world, you can pretty much rest assured there's lots of people that will hear your message and it will resonate.
Sure.
So you can sort of just rely on the power of numbers, more or less. And
Okay.
I'm sure, and like I would say, I am sure that if you've got like, I don't know, like Brad Pitt levels of charisma, like
Yeah.
hell,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
That's how he
So
got Blake Lively.
exactly. So I have no doubt that will help, but that doesn't equal a successful business, and you don't need to worry about having that to have a successful business online. There are more than enough people that will listen to your message, appreciate your message, and at the end of the day, a business really is solving people's problems.
Mhm. Right.
So as long as you have evidence that you know how to solve the problem they're looking to have fixed, you can pay a platform to put your message out there for you,
Mhm.
and you can start to make money. If you decide to go online and really look to make paid ads work, there are a couple of things that I can offer as advice for that. And it really does come down to the business model that you're looking to deploy. What do I mean by that? Paid ads cost money. Would you believe it? And so,
Imagine.
and at a base level, you need to have a business model that will support your company financially to go out and acquire customers. So in the money you make, you need to have more than enough to be able to pay for marketing. That needs to be built into the fees that you're collecting.
Right.
What I see a lot of, and what we fix a lot of in this industry when we work with our partners, is that they take the examples they see from online trainers and think of like, there's a couple of methods. Maybe they go have a look at, V-Shreds or someone, right? And he's got 4 million followers or however many millions he's got these days.
Right.
And he'll sell a workout plan, which is basically just glorified Excel spreadsheet with access to an app that costs him nothing really. And he'll be selling that for $40 for a 12-week plan. If he posts a message on his Instagram with his 4 million followers and 1% of them convert at $40 a pop, he doesn't have to pay for ads to just post something organically. That's a business that can work for him, right? Because he doesn't have to pay for acquisition. He just posts on a platform and his organic following will get him more than enough customers. So low ticket sort of services that we see a lot of people are copying it because it works for one person, but it won't work for the person with even a 10,000 or 20,000 following.
Right.
Then they're not going to get the level of traffic to be able to support acquisition at that price point.
Right.
Additionally, people these days could just ask ChatGPT for their workout plan and their nutrition. And ChatGPT will give the answer every bit as good as that Excel spreadsheet, 100%.
Yeah.
It'll even make the spreadsheet for it. So not only can you not afford acquisition in that business model, unless you've got millions of followers, but it's also like ChatGPT's fun.
Yeah. I mean, I use it to help me write things. So like,
Yeah, exactly.
can't blame anybody for using it for exercise.
100% not. And like, I find it really interesting that when I see online trainers, I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'll see an online trainer that has a $50 course or whatever on how to get fit. And meanwhile, when I click the search button in Instagram, because it's got Meta's version of ChatGPT built into it these days, have you seen it? It's got that llama large language model. It literally says like, yeah, it'll have like a potential search, like create for me a HIIT workout, create for me a high protein diet. And I could just click the button and it gives me that.
Oh, it has that through Instagram?
That?
100%. Didn't even know that.
If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you're in WhatsApp, you can just click the search button and then speak to Meta's large language model. It's called Llama 3, LLAMA 3.
Okay.
So like, I'm thinking like these people are selling a workout book for a 12-week course for $50. And as soon as it hits search, Llama's just saying, do you want me to make it for you? Seems wild to me.
Yeah, that's wild. I can't believe that.
Yeah. So probably don't go to that end of business, right?
Right.
The other business model we see a lot of is subscriptions. People that are offering like 250 a month, 300 a month, 400 a month. Great. And that's essentially with this notion of everyone's used to subscriptions. You can build out, and if you go into Excel and you go like, well, if I get 2 customers this month and 3 customers the next, 5 customers the month after that, wow, if I could get 5 people and I've got, you can build a really nice cash flow. It can look really beautiful. And you can go like, man, I'll have this recurring revenue and that's really great. And it looks really, really good on paper, but it's difficult to grow again because again, the money that you're collecting from that subscription is being drip fed into you month by month. So you will effectively always be waiting for a month or 2 to go by before you can go out and spend ads to then try and acquire another customer or hope for organic acquisition or convert. Like there's some sort of, there's a bottleneck there as far as how you can acquire customers. Because again, the money that you're getting is not brought in on the front end, it's drip fed into.
Right.
And I know why people do that, because we're also used to using subscription services online these days, like Netflix, Amazon, like all the things is all a subscription model. Your phone's a subscription, everything's a subscription. So why not fitness as well? Makes sense. The one thing that's missed out there is that Netflix, Amazon, all of these subscription services we're all used to using, they went out and spoke to a venture capitalist or a private equity firm or a bank and said, hey, I have this business idea. Can you give me $50 million so that I can go out and acquire these customers with this debt? And because the subscription is going to be worth more over time than what it will cost me to acquire this customer, we can just wait for this money to slowly tickle in and happy days, right?
Yeah.
So like Netflix spends, $1,000 to acquire a customer, and then you charge $20 a month or whatever, but they know their customers are going to be around with them spending a lot more than $1,000. So they went out and got debt to acquire that customer.
Right.
As an online personal trainer, you could be doing that. I doubt. I don't think you're going to hire an equity firm and get debt.
Yeah, no, I've got plenty already.
Exactly. So really that leaves you just, as far from our opinion, you just leaves you with one option. And that is having a business model where you're collecting as much cash up front as possible. This is this whole high ticket thing that everyone talks about. People get very heated on the idea of high ticket. I'm not too sure why. Effectively, what you're looking to do is just sell your services in a comparable price point to what in-person one-on-one coaching would cost a customer.
Right.
And so what we typically see is somewhere between $2,500 and $3,500 for 4 months of service is typical. And creating an offer that is that full one-on-one service, custom nutrition, custom exercise, accountability, build a community around the type of people you're going after or the problem you're trying to solve. Give a high touch premium service, like reach out to them multiple times a week, make sure they're doing their job, make sure they're actually getting value out of the service.
Right.
And start to look at things through the perspective of, I'm being paid this, not for the hours I spend with them in the gym, but to get them the result that they're paying me to get them, and really investing behind doing that. If you can collect even 50% of that 4-month package up front, you can typically acquire 2 customers and afford to fulfill. What we see typically, depending exactly what sort of customer you're going for, it's between $300 and $800 to acquire a customer at the sort of $3,200 price point. That's how much you can typically expect to spend on ads. Provided you have a lead is just paying how much it costs you to have Meta send enough people to your website and then finally give you the contact information, right? So Meta might send 10 people to your website. 20% of them actually give you their contact information and become a lead.
Right.
There's ways where we could get you a $2 lead. There's ways that we could get you a dollar lead. It doesn't matter how much the lead costs. What you're really concerned about is how much money do you have to pay Meta or another platform before you actually acquire a customer. That has to pay for the ads. That has to pay for all the leads that don't turn into customers.
Right.
And it has to turn into the sales calls that don't turn into sales, right? So the better salesperson you are, the higher percentage of customers you're able to convert into paying customers, the lower your customer acquisition costs become as well. It's not all just about advertising,
Right.
but it's really about having a look at that full bottleneck from the paid attention by the ad all the way through your sales funnel to actually getting the money in your coffers. That's really what we like to focus on, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. How much does it cost you to acquire a customer?
That makes sense. Yeah, I hadn't even considered a lot of that. Yeah, but that, I guess that makes a lot of sense to do it that way. And that's,
You could spend $2,000 on, you could spend $2,000 on $1 leads that have no interest in buying your product, and you've still spent $2,000 without acquiring a customer. But you
right.
could spend $800 on $30 leads, but you acquired a customer for $800. Happy days. So the lead costs are somewhat irrelevant to us. We really care about
Mhm.
customer acquisition costs. For the record, I'm going to give you the recording of this session so you can have a look through
Oh,
it and
okay.
come with notes and everything else as well, and a
Okay.
transcription, la-di-da, all the things.
Cool. The cheapest, I guess, currently, because I don't have with me, I only have currently I only have 4 clients, about to bring on maybe 2 more, in person.
Mhm.
And so with that being said, to do this, do you know do you have a typical timeline that if I were to go and purchase an ad, or I guess I'm not even sure what it would look like for me to purchase an ad through Facebook or Instagram or
Yeah,
whatever
for
its
sure.
platform.
For sure. To make this call function a little bit better, I'm going to go
Mhm.
with talking more about the whole front end system that you really need to consider before you go spending money on an ad.
Okay.
And then, because there's a bit of you need to have the pipes behind the scenes, the back end, to be able to actually sort of make the ad worthwhile even running.
Right.
Cool. And then we can talk about how to run an ad and how to
Okay.
go about that process. Okay. So, as I mentioned, an ad is just paid attention with a call to action that tells someone that's interested in seeing that stops scrolling and they get off their ADHD and they actually sit there for a second and look at it. First thing an ad has to do is be able to capture the attention of the customer, of the prospect. And then there has to be a reason for them to go, I'll have a look at this. At that point, the ad's done its job pretty much.
Sure.
There's still a gap between that and you getting money. So, first thing is you need a website. And more specifically than just a website, I'm going to make a slight differentiation here between a website and a sales funnel. A website is an online brochure where someone can go to Amanda.
Mhm.
A sales funnel is also a website, but it's specifically designed to take customers on a customer journey from awareness of your brand and your service to actually getting you money. We call this a sales funnel. Hey, I
Okay.
have a need. Oh, this Amanda chick, she seems to be pretty cool, and I'll click on her ad. So then now I'm there, and then you've got to sort of imagine the funnel, lots of awareness at top, and then
Mhm.
eventually a smaller funnel down to the customers that actually end up giving you money.
Right.
So a sales funnel is designed to funnel customers along the customer journey.
Okay.
So they'll often come to a landing page, which you've probably seen before, like,
Mhm.
hey, give us your email and we'll give you something in return, an ebook, or you can watch the video after this on some sort of training. These are called lead magnets. And what you're essentially doing there is bribing the prospect in exchange for their contact information. You'll give them something they want, right? Some form of value specific to the problem that they have and want fixed. So, and we call our first part of the sales funnel an opt-in page, because they're opting in to getting your lead magnet or inquiring with your service.
Okay.
And should be said, when you design your opt-in page, every piece of contact information you look to collect from them, the fewer people will fill it out. So if you ask for a name, first name, last name, a phone number, an email address, their social media handle, and all these things, every time someone adds something extra, the people are going to go like,
yeah, you can't get greedy.
can't get you, right? Just the same, only collecting their email is less valuable to you than collecting their email and their phone number. So it's a wave of options, which when it comes to business in general, I'm going to give you one notion here. A lot of business is about experimentation, testing, and looking at the data to see what was most effective. Everything ends up becoming a numbers game. When you run your ad, what you really care about is how many people clicked through on the ad. The better the ad is, the higher the click-through rate, the more people go to your landing page. The better your landing page, the higher percentage of people will give you an opt-in with their contact information. Ask for too many details, and your people that go to your landing page and actually complete it, that percentage of people declines. Ask for less, it increases. So it's just about like weighing all these different things up. What a typical landing sales funnel looks like is there's an initial opt-in page where they give you their contact information. Page 2 could be what we call a video sales letter, which is like, hey, this is Amanda's personal training service. I do this and it's wonderful. If this interests you, click the button below to book a call. So it goes opt-in page, video sales letter page, and then next step in the funnel is booking a call with you. And then, because in high ticket sales, I should say, if someone's going to give you $3,200 for 4 months of service, you're going to have to speak it. They're not going to hand over $3,200 to a stranger that, it's not going to happen. They might just pay the $50 thing. People pay for $50 things all the time online. $3,200, they're not going to do that. You're going to have to get on the phone and speak. So we've got those different steps that we see typical in sales funnels construction. Opt-in, video sales letter, booking page, and at the end, what we call a thank you page, which is like, thanks so much for filling out your appointment with us, and we can't wait to speak to you. Cheers, thank you. So you need that whole system built, really. And you need to have a process to seeing that and like looking at the analytics of that. There are many simple tools that you can use to build that. Probably one of the biggest ones is a tool called ClickFunnels. If you're familiar with it, ClickFunnels is a really good tool. Sort of comes in all in one package where you can build these sales funnels. It's the exact purpose was to build these sales funnels. So that's a good option.
That before, but
yeah, it's one of the biggest in the marketplace for sure. I talked about the percentage of customers that are going to go through that customer journey, right? Percentage of people that click on the ad, percentage of people that opt in, the percentage of people smaller again will watch the actual video sales letter, and then a smaller percentage of people again will actually look to book an appointment, right? That's why it's a funnel, right? Lots at the top, small at the bottom. And then eventually, of all the people that join your sales call, only a few of them will actually give you money. That's how the whole funnel works.
Sure.
Where I see a lot of online personal trainers fail is that they may get through this whole sales funnel construction phase, right? They're able to build their opt-in, they're able to build their lead magnet, they're able to shoot their video sales letter, they're able to get the widget and whatnot. And then they're stuck thinking like, man, I'm spending all this money, but I'm not getting enough customers to actually make money with the ad spend that I'm doing. Because even at $3,200, you could still spend a lot of money on ads. What we see the biggest problem is that they magically expect their business to thrive on the 1 in 50 customer that is perfectly satisfied to just move through the customer journey from start to finish, all on their own with no coach, sing along the way with, they just are so ready to buy that they're like, yes, ad. Here's my contact information. Great, I love your video. Here's the sales call. I will be there. I actually turn up and now I'm going to buy on the call, right? So like if you're banking on making your business successful on that customer that just goes through like a lightning bolt, your business is going to really struggle. Because at the end of the day, there are a lot more customers that are giving you their contact information on the front end of that sales funnel that could buy and would buy if you had systems in place to do what we call lead nurture. They become a lead when they give you your contact information. Now the question is, how can we nurture them? And that's where we really see back-end systems and processes really failing for a lot of online trainers. Like a lot of people will just pay for an ad, send them to a Calendly thing saying like, hey, book a call with me. And they're like, man, no one really does it. It's like, why would they? Like, why would they just, that has to be some motivated buyer. And interestingly, again, I think it's because people will have a look at some big fitness influencer and go, well, they just have a click to the calendar and they're making boatloads of money. Yeah, but they've also got a following of 10 million people and they've built trust with their community on Instagram for the last 8 years. So their leads and the people going to their calendar are a hell of a lot more warmed up than what your cold traffic was from an ad. You know, like random person scrolling along and thinks, oh, Amanda's ad. Never heard of Amanda. I'll trust her. Like that's fairly limited. Whereas if I've been following Eshreds for 10 years, I'm really familiar with him. I've got that trust there.
Right.
So lead nurture becomes the most important thing you can do after creating this whole sales funnel system. How do you lead nurture? That is utilizing the contact information you've collected from them to continue to provide value and also to reach out to them and say, hey, you showed an interest in my service. How about we jump on a call to discuss it? They're in the marketplace to have this problem fixed. So the biggest levers, there's many ways you can lead nurture. Social media direct messaging, text messaging, a bit invasive. So be careful about text messaging people too much.
Right.
Calls and email sequences. They're the biggest levers, right? And there's other things you can do to lead nurture, which is create like free community groups. Other like make a podcast. This is stuff could be like lead nurture as well. The biggest movers are going to be calls, SMS, direct messaging and text messaging. So that's SMS and Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, whatever direct messaging. Calls and email. Email is a really cheap way, or if after they've given you their contact information, to create what we call an email sequence. Over the next period in time, they're going to receive emails from you automatically that is related to the problem they have that made them inquire in the first place and will help them fix it because it builds that trust. And then in that email sequence, you could say like, hey, hope you've been enjoying this and you've got some value. If you'd like us to help you fix this problem, go book a call with me on the calendar. All this sort of stuff is what we'd call lead nurture, right? A really, really important thing when it comes to sales in general is that across all industries and all services, it's pretty much, you'll hear about between 7 and 12 contacts for a lead is what's required on average to get a sale. So most people don't buy until they've been contacted in some form 7 or 12 times. That's the sweet spot. So this idea of like don't call them once, call them multiple times. Don't be afraid to call them multiple times. This person reached out with a problem. You're looking to fix it. This is not invasive. And if they don't want to speak to you, they can tell you they don't want to speak to you. And that's totally fine. It doesn't mean anything about you as a person. That this whole follow-up system and lead nurture system is what's going to get the most amount of money out of your ad spend at the end of the day. Because like we talked about at the start, there's that one customer in 100 that just shoots through like a lightning bolt. Happy days and God bless that person. But there's so much extra money still in your lead that could be wrung out if you give them a little bit of encouragement, you know, and you can use those tools. And you need to have those tools and those systems in place, really, in my opinion, to be bothered running ads, or else you just,
Right.
it's not, you might be able to build a good business not doing any of that follow up. You're not going to build a great business, and you probably need to be a little more Ryan Reynoldsy as well.
Gotta have a little personality at least.
Yeah, if this is some random stranger and you're expecting to jump on a sales call with you, and they only see you once, probably need a lot of pizzazz for them to be able to go like, man,
Yeah,
I'll reach out.
Yeah, that's what I've been working on recently, is trying to come up with some videos, some kind of content that can give me a presence online more than I've had in the past, because I wasn't really outgoing, posting every day on Instagram just for personal purposes. So I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone of not being on camera and not speaking, like everybody hates their own voice for the most part. And so I'm in that same boat. And so it's like listening to videos of myself is like, ugh.
Yeah,
But yeah, trying to get over it, doing my
it's
best there.
tough.
So
I'm on the same
yeah,
journey as you. Yeah, absolutely.
I saw a
When it
few of
comes to,
your, I checked it on YouTube, I think, and saw
ah,
on Instagram and saw a few of the videos. I think it was a call with somebody that
yeah,
you had
for sure.
recorded and put up.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's tough to get in front of the camera, put
Yeah,
it all out there.
absolutely. It's all part of our personal growth, and we've got to expect to be pretty shit at it when we begin, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. To try different
Everybody had
things
his
and
first day.
yeah, exactly. Life would be
That's
boring if you were just automatically good at everything.
that's true. That's very
It'd be
true.
really boring.
Business for any of us.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm a big fan of Warren Buffett. He always talks about how boring life would be without failure. It'd be like playing golf, and every time you step up to the tee, you just get a hole in one every time. He's like,
Yeah.
it'd be good to brag to your friends for about 5 minutes, but then after a while, you'd stop playing golf.
Mhm. Like when they get to heaven and everybody is
Yeah.
just like little zombies because
Yeah.
everything is so perfect and they can have whatever they want all the time. Yeah. So it would be, without failure or without any kind of struggle, life would be so
Or more. Did you have any questions around that first part?
so.
I'm giving you a lot of stuff to think about, by the way. If it's
Oh
too
yeah, no,
much,
you're good. No.
yeah.
Some of this I've already kind of delved into, and some of this is like harkening back to when I was in school. I have my business minor, and so some of this stuff sounds familiar. As far as the website, I have some experience with coding and building websites. They're
Cool.
not anything that's like, so it's not like going to Wix or something like that. They're not sparkly, but as far as that goes, like aside from the steps that you went through, are there any other like big parts that should be a part of either the sales funnel website or the more of the regular brochure website?
Yeah.
Anything that's just like that stands out that should definitely be in there? Maybe for the brochure one.
On the brochure one, it's really just more about being a contact database for you, where they can find you on the internet, and something about your business, the service you're offering, and how they can find out more. There's probably a bit of value in creating a blog
Okay.
that will help you with ranking on your search engine, but I would suggest that's probably one of your later places to go to be honest. At the end of the day, you've got to think about customer acquisition as having multiple different ways to acquire customers, and you're
Mhm.
best off just focusing on one channel, really.
Okay.
And so focus on one channel. There's more than enough work to make a really great business on just one channel. So
Right.
you've got like organic traffic to your website is one potential channel. Paid ads is another great channel, but paid ads is a lot more instantaneous.
And then the other thing that I was just thinking with the emails, is there something in play like that, is like something to assist with that, or should I just create my own once I get to that step, I'm not quite there yet.
Mhm.
But once I get there, is there a specific list of kind of the order of operations? I've worked with this kind of stuff in gyms and when we're acquiring leads and stuff like that. So I've got a decent idea.
Are you talking about the systems or how to write the emails?
This basically what's in the emails.
Okay,
So the information, the content of the email.
okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna hope that it speaks to the problem that you specifically are looking to solve. So if
Okay.
you're a weight loss coach, if you're a back pain coach, if you're a restorative, pick your niche. And also, I would also suggest picking your type of customer you're after, which could be another way you can change how it changes your marketing. And that might mean, like, we actually like working a lot with professions, like certain professions and building businesses around them. Primarily because we really like being able to build a community where a whole bunch of that type of profession could get some value out of being in a community group together. But someone clicked on your ad or a lead magnet to give them value on fixing the problem they're interested in fixing. Typically what we do there is have a 7-day sequence. So 7 emails over 7 days, where there is the overall meta of that 7 email structure is provide value in helping them fix their problem and how they could go about doing them effectively, how they could go about doing it themselves. And then maybe some bona fides of the customer success sprinkled throughout, or have a separate email all for it towards the end of that 7-day sequence. And then effectively asking them to reach out. We don't like to ask them to reach out really more than twice, maybe 3 times in that 7-day email sort of sequence. If you're asking literally every email, like specifically, like, like speak to us here, probably can be a bit overwhelming. So that's and then after that initial 7-day sequence, so they opt in, they get put on a 7-day sequence. And then after that, have them on like a long-term nurture as well. So there's that interest in getting them on board to reach out to you in that first 7 days. But then after that, like, have them on a newsletter that you release once a week for the next million years. And you never know when they'll actually decide to pick up the phone and call you, right? That we've had clients that joined our newsletter like 18 months ago, and then on their 30th freaking email, now they're decided to be a customer, right? So like, who cares? They're customer stuff. Sorry. Within emails, how to create the actual specific each email, we have a pretty typical formula, I suppose. The whole email, as basic a language as you can. Keep it at a very low level of reading expertise. The idea here is that lots of people don't read too good, and you want them to still be customers. And the people that can read really well will appreciate your concise, simplistic way of conveying your message.
Sure.
So
nobody wants to read a 3-page email.
Effectively, they all start out with problem statement, story about why it's a problem and why you needed to fix it. The notion here is that obviously problem statement makes people inquisitive, like actually gets them to read on.
Right.
Humans are very story driven. So a good story will emote them to continue to invest energy into reading more. And then finally, we typically post-rationalize our emotions with data. So we like to think we're all data-driven decision makers. We're not. We just use data to rationalize our emotional want for reaching out, buying, doing some sort of action, right?
Right. Makes sense.
Like, I want the TV, a brand new TV. Oh, I'll buy this TV because that one happens to be the best one and the price is at a good price point. It being the best TV, it being a great price, had nothing to do with the fact that I just want the TV. I used that data to rationalize my emotional need at the start.
Yeah, the justification of it.
Yeah, exactly. Does that make any questions around that? Have I
Yeah.
answered that question?
No, that makes sense. Now that you spoke more on it, I'm kind of remembering back we had to create a website in college and do all that and create all those things. So yeah, it's coming back to me. I'm sure I can, once I'm to that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then
Definitely.
there's always Chat GPT to help out.
There is. You did ask a question about ads originally.
Um,
Like,
yeah. So basically, I guess like, obviously not to that point yet, but when it happened, when I'm able to do that, is it, I guess, like, what would the ad look like? Maybe what's like you said the average cost could, I mean, does it range, or is there generally an average cost, or is it just kind of all over the place? Because you were talking about $1 and $2 leads.
could be more expensive than the $40 lead when it comes to acquiring a customer.
Okay.
So
And then just like when you do go through like Facebook or Instagram to get those ads up, I guess I'm not familiar with the like behind the scenes process of all of that, just what it looks like, what it takes to aside from the cash.
well, I'm about to release a video that takes people through the actual creation of an ad, and I'll be
Oh,
releasing that
okay.
on YouTube. So like that'll actually take you through the clicking around on the screen side of things.
Sure.
So for right now, I'll avoid doing that because I've already got that video queued up. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you just type, go to YouTube. How do I run an Instagram ad or Facebook ad?
Right.
In general, you create a campaign, you say you want leads, you give it the website you're after, you upload your images and or videos. We call that creative. You give it the headlines you want for your ads, you give it the body text,
Okay.
and it's kind of
Okay.
it. Procedurally, that's kind of it. Now then, what I said about I could get you $2 leads or I could get you $40 leads. If you run an ad that is to help people lose weight and you
Hmm.
just target all women in the United States, right? Here's a lead magnet to help you lose weight. Click on this ad and you'll get this lead magnet, and you're going to distribute that message to all women in the United States. There's a hell of a lot of people that will see that, roughly
Hmm.
150, 60 odd million of them. But how many of those people are really going to be interested in purchasing your service? The ad itself and the content that you're looking to deliver is not
Hmm.
really narrowing down your audience very much. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
so because there's so many people you could address, the lead cost is going to be very much less because there's
Gotcha.
so many people it can distribute that message to. It can always, these systems, they all work off what is like they call an auction system. There's like
Hmm.
always some attention the platform has to given out, like as someone's spending time on screen, they more or less have a how many paid ads they're prepared to give a person per, 10 posts or whatever they see, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So there's like this pool of potential ads that Facebook could put in front of someone. And then depending on the audience, every advertiser like your business and Apple and Nike and all these different advertisers, they're all saying, I want my ads to appear in front of this type of person. And so for
Okay.
that
Yeah.
type of person, there could be less potential screen time for them to distribute that ad to. So in the
Right.
system, there is literally an auction system that you can't see that is basically like, hey, we've got, you know, 5 million posts we're prepared to use for advertisings to give to customers that look like this. Everyone bid for them and everyone will bid for them. It's just happening behind the scenes when you say you want to spend $10 a day or whatever.
Gotcha.
If you're running an ad that's just saying, hey, just get my ad in front of any one of the 165 million females and women in the United States, there's lots of that potential space. So they'll be really cheap to get. They'll be like, oh, here's Jenny from Wichita. Like, let's give her the ad. And she might even respond to the ad. Interestingly, also, if you just run an ad that says, I help you with weight loss online, there's lots of people that do that.
Right.
So that's why we really believe in getting a lot more specific in who we're looking for. So it's sort of like, which is why we like to use professions. Like we're looking for real estate agents that are
Oh, okay.
sick and tired of their busy schedules, always on the road, trying to find ways to be healthy and eat fast food and like, whatever the messaging might be.
Right.
Because at least now the advertisement is going to appeal to a more specific audience.
Okay.
And we typically try and use professions to target for professions that have money to spend on fitness.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Another really
That's
big one when it
making
comes to
sense.
this, yeah, when you're constructing your ad, you can sort of define what your audience should look like. And that would be
Mhm.
down to one of the biggest levers is you can say a minimum age for your ad. So you don't want your ad to appear to people that are younger than X years.
Gotcha.
An 18-year-old probably can't afford a $3,200 personal training package.
Right.
Additionally, they're 18 and their health is the least of their concerns, and they still look
Right.
like Greek gods and,
Mm.
and Aphrodite's themselves, right?
Yep.
So,
I miss it.
but you could say minimum age is 35. A
Right.
35-year-old, I'm 39. I didn't start caring about how I looked and my health and fitness up until like 6, 7 years ago. About when all of a
Oh
sudden
man.
I realized I didn't have unicorn blood anymore. I was like, oh my God, this sucks. Uh,
It happens like overnight too.
exactly. And guess what? I make money now. Like I didn't when I was 18, 21, 22, 25. You've actually
Right.
seasoned in your career and you make more money now. And now your body's starting to fall apart. So it's actually a problem. The basic lever is a big lesson. Like younger than 30, we don't really see much traction on. So you might get some, unless you're going for like if your audience, like we have a high school football coach and he wanted to help young athletes get into college as one of our partners. He specifically is targeting people that like he actually sets up
Right.
his age requirements and his age requirements are like 18 to 22. That's his bracket because that's where his
Right.
bracket is.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly for him, he actually had two campaigns. One ad that's designed to display to the potential athlete. So little Billy Bob that wants to get under his college football team. And
Right.
another ad for the parents of Billy.
I knew.
Exactly.
Get the helicopter parent.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll do it.
Exactly. Well, at the end of the day, they're the ones that are paying, right?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. One final thing that probably I'll go in a bit into that advertising video I'll be launching, but there's all of these platforms. Meta specifically is probably the most like this. They all have algorithms that you can't see that are designed to put your ads in front of people that will be most likely to respond to it. These algorithms learn as they collect data from your website and your sales funnel to see, okay, we sent this customer to this website and they didn't become a lead. Or we sent this customer and they did become a lead. That information goes back to Meta and it learns how to target the right people. So that's called algorithmic based targeting.
Okay.
The other way that they can target customers for you is that you, as the media buyer creating the ad, can use what they call interest based targeting. So you can actually, there's a huge, massive, long list where you can go, I want people from this country. I want this age range. I want this gender. And then I want people that are interested in luxury real estate. I want people that are interested in all these sorts of things. Imagine an interest, imagine a profession, imagine a job title. You can target people that follow certain big groups or influencers. So like you could
Okay.
say, target people that follow Grant Cardone's Instagram profile or his
Right.
Facebook page. And if the people you're looking to sell to happen to be fans of Grant Cardone, saying, put my ad in front of people that look like Grant Cardone's big followers, that's probably a good bet. You have to know that Grant Cardone is a potential watering hole for your customers. So what's called interest or detailed targeting, which is where you actually tell Facebook yourself who you want to go after. And then the other is algorithmic. And we, in media buying world, call this broad-based targeting. The way this works, so one is look for Grant Cardone, 35 to 45, males, happy days, right? Whatever it might be, whatever your detailed audience is. The other one is look for people in the United States and this age range. And I'm not going to tell you anything more about what they look like. All I'm going to do is give you pictures and videos and headlines and bodies of text. The reason why? Facebook algorithm learns who to put your ad in front of based on who's interacting with it. Who's going to interact with an ad saying, hey, if you're a high earning real estate agent, click here. And if you're not, fuck off. Right? So the notion there is your creative is doing the targeting and the user interaction teaches Facebook who to target rather than you typing the interest in yourself.
Gotcha.
So algorithmic broad-based message, broad targeting, which is like, have a look at everyone, but here's my creative and that does the targeting for me. And the detailed targeting is actually telling Facebook who you want to put your ads in front of. At any given moment in time on Facebook and all the ad platforms, which one is working best will change. So what strategy is working best will change based on algorithmic changes, based on an update to iOS, like anything that can happen. And then at some point, detailed targeting, telling Facebook who to go after could be working best. At another point, broad-based targeting could be working best. So how do we fix this problem? Built into the process of running ads is to constantly be testing new ways of constructing your campaigns and the creative that you use and everything all the time. So for us, we really believe in testing a lot. We would say that 20% of your advertising dollars, like if you're looking to spend $100 a day, $50 a day, whatever, put aside 20% of that budget purely to testing. The whole point of it is to try out a broad-based campaign, to try out a detailed, an interest-based type campaign, try a video image, try an image, try a different headline, to try a different test, right?
Sure.
And then look, like spend 20% of your budget going onto those different tests. And then in Facebook's metrics, what ones are becoming winners? So have good metrics and good data behind them. And then now put those into what we would call your winners campaign. So we always have like 80% of our spend going to ads that are working well, that we would consider winners, and 20% of our budget just testing. And whenever we find a winner, we will probably replace an old winner that's outperforming and just constantly, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just constantly updating with
always
better stuff.
So like, exactly. So like we will test every week. We're probably testing maybe 200 different 200 different changes every week, just all the time, whether it be a different approach to how we're creating the visual images on ads or the videos or the copywriting or the actual ad campaign structure. Like, are we going broad? Are we going like, we're turning variants every week. And that's with a bigger budget, but you know, if you're working with like $100 a day, you should probably, 10 to 20 different variant changes. It's probably a pretty good sort of realm to testing. And there's things in Meta that I'll take you through that'll take you through in that course that can help you do that testing for you and automate a fair bit of it.
Right on. Oh, that's all super good information that I wouldn't have known at all.
Cool.
Yeah, you broke it down in a really, really concise way. That
Awesome.
was super helpful. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your time. and breaking
Yeah, of
that all
course.
down for me and going over it with me.
Did you have any questions before we? I know we've used the hour, so do you have any other questions?
No, I think you've pretty much gone over everything that I could have had a question about for where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Awful. Great.
All right. Well, thank you so much, David.
Thank you, Amanda. I wish you all the best, and keep in touch, and I'll reach out and see how you're traveling and whereabouts you're at and all the rest of it. And at any point you have any questions, you just let me know, yeah?
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Of course. Cheers.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.